everyone, my name is Michelle Moreus and I make art tutorials that are fun, easy, and accessible to everyone. Before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment, "I subscribed," and I will try to personally reply to each and every one of you. Be sure to stay until the end of the video for some time-saving bonus tips. The first thing about colored pencil drawings, and any drawings for that matter, or paintings, is to have a good plan. Have a good detailed sketch laid out. Choose your colors by swatching them ahead of time. This will make it easier to get started and you won't have to continually go into your set to find more and more colors. The colors aren't as important as the values you need to have. You need to have at least a light value, a mid-tone value, and a dark value of all your main colors. These colors don't have to be necessarily accurate to your reference photos. As long as the value is correct, your final product will still be realistic. Always start with light pressure with colored pencils. They work best when applied in light layers. Colored pencil is a slow medium, meaning that you have to build up slowly in many layers. Keep a light pressure control and alternate between colors, gradually creating transition. If you're struggling to keep a light pressure, try holding your pencil towards the back of the pencil to avoid digging into the tooth of the paper. You can use colorless blenders. You can blend colors using a colorless blender pencil. Each different brand of pencils have one. If you're using Prismacolor, these are a wax-based pencil, and the blending pencil will be made up of the blender material or the binder material that is in the colored pencil with no pigment. Therefore, blending is very easy. If you're using polychromos, the binder is an oil binder and it works the same. You can use solvents such as Zest-It or Gam-Sol or any other odorless mineral spirit to blend your colored pencils. I use this for my backgrounds. It gives you a nice, soft, blended, blurry background, which is really effective in keeping your focus on the main subject. Solvents are also great for creating an underpainting underneath all of your details. They'll brighten up your colors and push the pigment into the tooth of the paper without damaging the tooth, leaving room for a lot of details on top. Just make sure to let the solvent dry before continuing on the top with your details. You want to make sure you have enough base layer of pigment down on the paper before using the solvent, and use it sparingly. I usually have a paper towel on hand to blot your brush before applying. The next technique is burnishing. As you layer your colored pencil gradually, you add more and more pressure to the pencil. This will burnish the colors together and create a nice blend. Or you can use a lighter color to burnish all the layers to blend them together as well. You can go over with a white or a light gray and it will bind the colors together and blend them very nicely. With this method, you'll be flattening the tooth of the paper and therefore making it harder to layer anything else on top. So you don't want to burnish an area until you've completed that area, because you won't be able to put a lot of more layers on top. With colored pencils, you always want to keep your colored pencils really sharp. This will prevent you from using too much pressure and scarring or damaging the tooth of the paper. And like I said earlier, if you hold the pencil at the end of the pencil, not near the point, you will be forced not to use too much pressure on the pencil, therefore scarring the paper. You can use a blending powder, which is a unique product, but it does have its drawbacks. You put the powder blender on a brush, you go into each area and you blend it out. But with this method, you would need to spray a workable fixative in between using the powder. Leave a comment below if you'd like to see a video using this product. Another tip is to print your image out in the same size as what you were drawing and your paper size. This will help with proportion. It'll help you and guide you through as you're going along. I also use an iPad, which I have in front of me and I can refer to, where if I get stuck with a certain area, I can go in and blow that area up and look at the details and see what I'm missing. As with everything, practice makes perfect. Part of your success will be not to give up. Keep going, finish your work, and if you get too frustrated, walk away, get a clear head, and go back to it. Sometimes I find it helpful to hold my painting up to a mirror so you can see if your proportions and values are correct. You'd be surprised to see things differently in the mirror. You can also turn your drawing and reference image upside down, which will give you a different perspective and force you to look at the shapes instead of at the image itself. This can be a really useful trick to get you out of a frustrating point in the piece. It's just looking at things with a fresh eye and fresh perspective. Now for your bonus tips. Try using other mediums, mixing mediums such as watercolor or Copic markers to put a base layer of color down before going in with your colored pencils. Not only will this speed up your drawing process without damaging the tooth of the paper, but it alleviates the white of the paper showing through the little white areas. You can use a craft knife or a slice tool to pull out small details such as feathers or fur. Just be sure to use the knife on the side. Scrape small amounts of colored pencil off the paper and don't use it straight or you'll put a slice in your work. But it can add little details such as a tiny little highlight in an eye or in a feather. It can add little tiny details of that feather by just taking out some of that medium with a craft knife. You just have to be very careful. I would practice on a practice piece of paper first. Put down a good layer of colored pencil and then go in with your craft knife and pick some of that area out. You'll be surprised how much detail you can get in a drawing just using those simple tricks. If you're finding my videos helpful, please subscribe and leave a comment and a thumbs up. I upload new videos every Thursday, so if you'd like to see me go over something that you haven't seen yet, please leave it in the comments below and I promise I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching and happy art.